talked about was if I couldn't get the foot on the hip. So say Carl was playing De La Hiva. So he had his cross grip, he had the De La Hiva hook, perfect. This is where he wants the foot, if that makes sense. But before he gets his foot there, I'm kind of here a little bit. So the way I've kind of smashed that in. And even if I make grips, it's hard for Carl to create distance. Anytime you want to play your De La Hiva guard, he wants to push. So I'm sort of out here. The further I am from Carl, the more things he can do. So if I'm there, we talked about how he could turn into the knee sheet. Yes. So now from this position, he can kick to put me down, and then he can get into this whole inversion there as well, and he's on the back. But a reaction that I can do, not only can he kick to put me down, when he gets into the knee shield, and we're there because he couldn't get the foot on the hip, he can use this as a brace. So when he pulls, he can actually pull me over and take me over, and then he's into the whole same stuff again. I can close that down by making one reaction. So watch. If we're here and I'm close and then he switches to the knee shield, I know he wants to use this and I'm falling over it. That's if this leg is high. If I bring this knee to the inside and kind of put my knee in his thigh, it kind of shuts down the knee shield and I sort of squat down a little bit. Now when Carl does that same movement, very difficult to pull me down to the hip. So we're going to switch to like a mermaid guard, sort of closed guard behind his legs, and then we have two pathways from there. So let's just get rid of that. So say we have the lead leg sleeve, we got into our whole De La Hiva position. I want this, but Carl's come close, so I'm turning into that knee shield. If his leg's back here, I can just go back into the same sequence. I can get his hands on the mat and possibly get him down to the knee. If he doesn't drop to his knee, we're back into the whole triangle game that we talked about, if that makes sense. So we're here, I'm in the knee shield, but now Carl brought that second leg in. Notice the way now, because he brought that in, it would be difficult for me to topple him over, because he's a lot more base here. I open my legs and we just cross our ankles. And now we have two pathways. Obviously, I want to sweep him to the side that I have the arm control so he can't base. So I'm going to be rolling Carl over his right shoulder. So I just pull my knees towards my chest to get his head over mine, and then I just redirect. Notice the way I kept my knees pinched so that I end up on mount. So I had collar and sleeve with the De La Hiva. I want the foot on the hip, so I turned into the knee shield, and then Carl's reaction was to step up. So now it alleviates all the pathway that we did about trying to get his hands on the mat. So we just open our legs and kind of put closed guard at the back of his knees. From there, I'm using my collar and sleeve. I don't want Carl sitting back onto his butt, so I'm pulling him forward. And once I get my knees to my chest and his head over mine, I'm coming up into mount, but I keep my knees pinched. If you relax at all, Carl pulls his knees towards his chest and into the butterfly. You don't want that. So stay tight. Just on that side now. So I had collar and sleeve with the De La Hiva. I switched to the knee shield because he was tight, and he brought that leg in. Just basically open your legs, recross, pull his head over my head, and then I just push him down, pinching with my knees. Stop. Sometimes people will throw themselves the other way, which is another reaction. And again, I think in Jiu-Jitsu, the path of least resistance is always a good thing. So say I had collar and sleeve and I got into my position and we were here. If I'm pulling him to my left, Carl, he goes that way. And we don't want to try and keep pulling him back. At the minute he puts his hand on the mat, there's the opening. You just put the foot on the hip and go back into our triangle again. So again. So we were playing collar and sleeve. I was looking the foot on the hip. Carl put the elbows back, so we had to switch to the De La Hiva. But then he moved in closer. I went to the knee shield, and then another thing he added into the game was now he stayed tight. For that split second, you know, Jiu-Jitsu, you can't force things in Jiu-Jitsu. I can't I spent so much time and so many techniques of trying to get Car's hands on the mat and getting his knee on the mat because I know a lot of stuff from there. But the minute he made this reaction, I have to change with it. We can't force anything in jiu-jitsu. So I open my legs, I cross, I close guard. I want to take him this way, he's leaning that way. If he's going that way, I let him go that way. Very hard for him to pull his elbow back to his hip because I'm controlling the sleeve. So I just find my foot in the collar and his hip. I bring this knee in. He can't take his hand off. If Carl takes his hand off the mat, I have the sweep. He has to stay posted, which means my legs on the inside. And then I'll just lift my hip. We covered this in week 1. Leg comes over, triangle trap, and then I look to get the angle. Here's the triangle. Not going into details on that, we covered that in week 1. Okay.